Our Öztaler Alpen adventure started in Sölden, and due to the rainy weather, we had to change our original plan, which happened a few more times but made the trip more adventurous. We took the bus up to the Timmelsjoch and did a little detour exploring the trail leading to the Brunnenkugelhaus, and then turned around after an hour and hiked down the Timmelstal to Hochfürst. We were lucky that the weather cleared, and despite the initial cold and windy conditions at the Timmelsjoch, the hike was 11.5 kilometers or roughly 7 miles long, with an elevation gain of 470 meters or 1600 feet and a descent of 1100 meters or 3600 feet. The trail is easy and well marked, and only in the end we got a little bit lost and soon found the right trail again to the Gasthaus Hochfürst. Our second day we hiked from Hochfürst to Schneeberg, an old mining site which had the feeling of an old ghost town. We did a little detour to pick up an item lost on our way down yesterday and were lucky to find it. The weather improved significantly and made the hiking a pure pleasure. We hiked for 9.5 kilometers or 6 miles with an ascent of 840 meters or 2,800 feet and a descent of 300 meters or 1,000 feet. The trail again was easy and well marked and provided close-up views of the Texel group now that we crossed from Austria into Italy. On our third day, we descended to the Timmelsbrücke and took the bus over the Timmelsjoch back to Sölden. I did a little detour early in the morning up to the Karlschorte and then back to Schneeberg. On the way back, we stopped at the Obere Gostolm, which won the first prize for best homemade cakes on this trip. The hike was 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles long with an elevation gain of 450 meters or 1500 feet and an elevation loss of 1000 meters or 3400 feet. On our fourth day, we did a hike up to the Rotkugeljochhütte, starting from the Rettenbach Olm, and then traversed on a scenic high route to the Rettenbach Ferner ski area. Taking the local bus is a good idea because the starting and end points of this hike are different. We started in dense fog, which cleared after an hour on our way up. Rotkugel is a nice viewpoint if you have extra time and energy. The hike was 10.4 kilometers or 6.5 miles long, with 470 meters or 1500 feet down and 1100 meters or 3600 feet up. The trail is easy and in the beginning and requires actually quite some sure-footedness at the end of the traverse to the Rettenbach Ferner. On day 5, we took the bus to Figelshütte and hiked up to Sölden. The plan was to stay 2 nights at Figelshütte and do day hikes. Figelshütte was one of the nicer huts and we really enjoyed our stay there. The trail to Sölden is easy in the beginning and more difficult at the end with some minor climbing. The round trip was 10.2 kilometers or 6.5 miles with an elevation gain and loss of 960 meters or 3,300 feet. On day 5, we did a day hike to the Hildesheimer Hütte, which was the highlight of our trip. The Hildesheimer Hütte provides amazing panoramic views, and we were very lucky with the weather. There are 2 trails from Figelshütte. We took the shorter and steeper trail on the way up, and the slightly longer and less steep trail, the Oschenbrenner Trail, on the way down. The steep uphill trail is indeed very exposed and requires good sure-footedness. The hike was 14.3 kilometers or 9 miles long, and this is the round trip, with 1,100 meters or 3,600 feet up and down. On our last day, we hiked out from Figelshütte to Sölden to catch the bus and the trains back to Munich. We followed some side trails, but mostly walked on unpaved roads until we reached Sölden. The trail is very easy and well marked. Overall, we hiked for 6.3 kilometers or 4 miles with an elevation loss of 600 meters or 2,000 feet on a gorgeous morning, feeling a little bit sad that we had to leave the Öztaler Alps.
Okay.